I am Kesten Rono, and today is day 61 of A Course in Miracles. Thank you for being here. Today we will begin reviewing the principles of miracles 1 through 50, and we'll move forward with the next 50 lessons before we review those. Okay, principles of miracles. Number 1, again, there is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. If you find yourself using language like, that's hard, that's bad, relative to what? And as far as the operations of miracles go, which should be the impossible, meaning that they should be some of the hardest things for us to imagine. That when we're using language like hard or difficult, if we make it relative to a miracle, what does that do? What does it mean to accept that something cannot be harder than something else, more difficult than something else to accomplish, to notice? Perhaps it suggests that we practice with ease because whatever it is that we're noticing is way simpler than we've ever imagined it possibly could be. That all miracles are the same. All expressions of love are maximal. Even here in Principle 1, we're getting some allusion to what a miracle is. If all miracles are the same in their order of difficulty, and all expressions of love are maximal, that a miracle is some form of expression of love, that the varying degree to which we are noticing that love is us being unable to notice that it is love itself. That love, if miracles are a natural process, that love itself is a natural flow. And love is therefore being expressed all the time throughout the process of miracles. And it is consistent. If all miracles are of the same density, worth, value, difficulty, expression, if all of them are the same and all expressions of love are maximal, and we know later that miracles are healing, that their source is love, that we are a miracle, that our source is God, that our source, therefore, must be love, that there is something just fundamental about what love is, about what we are related to it, about what this process of a miracle is. Its teaching device to notice something different, to wake up to a new perspective, that it might just be time, space, and perspective. That our perspective is what allows us to have an experience that could be filled with ease, that we could be full of ease, that we may offer ease. What is ease? Peace, the opposite of dis-ease. There is no order of difficulty of miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They are all the same. All expressions of love are maximal. May we accept that love can be noticed at all times, that in all situations, anywhere that we find ourselves, no matter with whom we imagine we are dealing, these are our attack thoughts, of course, that if we feel conflicted, that there is no degree of impossibility that could prevent a miracle from naturally occurring, that for love to be expressed in that situation. After all, that's what a miracle is. It is the seemingly impossible. Why is it seemingly impossible? Because miracles exist when we are tied to our body identification. It is the spice. It's the magic if we are stuck on the spectacle. It is the magic of the realm that we are in time and space. That there's a possibility for these laws to be broken, for something else to be noticed that could be revelational. But to just see the spectacle itself would trap us under some umbrella of magic alone. That the miracle is a deeper process, originating from love, expressing love. This expression of love is the same as any other expression of love. It is therefore unchanging, unconditional, wholly unchanged, unconditional love. It is the idea of love that is being shared through some process of miracles. May we notice this expression with great ease. It simply is. Lesson 61. I am the light of the world. Please try this statement on. I am the light of the world. Who is the light of the world except God's Son? This, then, is merely a statement of truth about yourself. It is the opposite of a statement of pride, of arrogance, or of self-deception. It does not describe the self-concept you have made. It does not refer to any of the characteristics with which you have endowed your idols. It refers to you as you were created by God. It simply states the truth. Okay, if we are the light of the world, this is something that we cannot see if we cannot see ourselves as God's sons. That if we are here image making, that we can only see ourselves through this body identification lens, then we are deceiving ourselves. This is self-deception. Our pride, our arrogance, insisting that what we see around us, the world that we are making, all of the power we are giving to idols in our world, I suppose living or non-living, anything material that we're associating with something that we believe matters because it is matter in time and space. If we are focusing on our body identification alone, we cannot notice that we are the light of the world. This is a statement of truth about ourselves. If we cannot feel this is obvious, as the busy person who might be listening to this video, creating this video, distracted, if you're like me, confused, waking up to different ideas, enjoying yourself, wondering where that idea of life is flowing from. But if we are this person nonetheless, and we are busy wrapped up in our image making, creating a darkness and calling it light, therefore unable to truly grasp what could be in our best interests, therefore never setting a goal that could achieve such a thing, as we assume the meaning of everything that is around us, even though we cannot notice God's light in it, and therefore we cannot understand its true purpose, and therefore we do not know ours. But in this puzzle, we are not waking up to our light, we are waking up to our darkness, so we may notice it, so we may notice how to feel and move this kind of energy, to release it through the process of forgiveness and wake up to the light that we have been insisting does not exist. But if we can see ourselves through this spirit identification lens, we may notice that we are the light of the world. It refers to you as you were created by God. It simply states the truth. simply. It might feel like this is an impossible idea, but that is the process of the teaching devices that miracles are. It simply states the truth. That's what the truth is. It just simply is. May we embrace this idea. To the ego, today's idea is the epitome of self-glorification. To the ego, today's idea is the epitome of self-glorification. I suppose this is the idea that, from the ego's perspective, which uses fear and darkness, building in illusions, creating a trap by the idea, some umbrella of safety through relative power by seizing control, an intoxicating idea for many of us, maybe part of the natural experience of stepping away from God's love so we may notice it again, remember what exactly it is that we are, and celebrate. But from the ego's perspective, it would hope that in our decision to align with it, that we may not notice the light, that we may see something else that it calls light. Kind of like teaching a dog a trick using a funny word. We can choose words that are not true. Well, as true as anything is here in this material idea, but for the example, if you can bear with me, we may choose a word that is not true. It's not really the classification of the action we want the dog to take or the kind of treat we want them to have. Whatever the case is, we use a funny word that clearly stands out, and we imagine that we are tricking the dog. And the ego is telling us that what we are seeing is light. But of course, all of this relies on us not truly noticing what our light is, that we are fearful of stepping into the invisible realm, that the ego is saying, I'll take care of all of that. It's just death and darkness and destruction out here. You're best off in your little box. In there, you're safe. You should stay there. And as this idea takes hold, the ego and our identification with it feels secure, feels powerful. We feel powerful as we step further into darkness, we imagine. But we are never very far away. We are the light of the world. To the ego, today's idea is the epitome of self-glorification. But the ego does not understand humility, mistaking it for self-debasement. It does not understand humility, rather self-debasement. Humility consists of accepting your role in salvation and in taking no other. Humility consists of accepting your role in salvation and in taking no other. This is another hint, we would imagine then, therefore, to our divine universal purpose, is to save ourselves. What are we saving ourselves from if we're not to enter into this idea of attack dots? It's to save ourselves from attack dots. How do we notice those? By donning the lens of true vision, to notice, or at least to practice working our way towards true vision, to notice that how we have been selling this story to ourselves has not been in our best interests. That if we could be seeing ourselves as the light of the world, to notice this light within us, well, to live in any other way that does not feel full of love and light and abundance and truth would be out of alignment with light, love, abundance, and truth. That we are suffering in some kind of defense or attack, coercion, depression, anxiety, shame, anger, sadness. Why do we choose to continue to live here just because it has been the norm? Perhaps this is an illusion itself. And to be humble is to set down the idea that we were ever getting more power through any kind of control whatsoever. To be humble would be to recognize that only we can save ourselves from the perspective of our mind. And this is our only task. Humility consists of accepting your role in salvation and in taking no other. It is not humility to insist you cannot be the light of the world if that is the function God assigned to you. It is only arrogance that would assert this function cannot be for you, and arrogance is always of the ego. Wonderful. Do you struggle to receive compliments? Or when someone provides you a compliment, are you able to look them in the eyes and say, thank you? Or even, thank you for noticing? Or thank you for helping me to notice this gift. I am grateful to receive. Even if you don't want to use these words in a normal conversation. I mean, you can, of course. But if you don't want to use these words, will you allow yourself to feel those ideas? If you cannot receive a compliment because you have greater judgment for yourself, that you are not worthy of such ideas, then this book is suggesting that that is arrogant of you, that it is okay. In fact, it is vital that you recognize your worthiness, that what you are is light. And to abandon this would be to align yourself with the ego. We do not need to be scared, and we do not need to believe that because we are powerful in this sense, that we might be something other than what we are told, is not arrogance. We are allowed to step outside of the way we have been seeing ourselves. And if we grow in strength, that is not synonymous with growing in arrogance, that we may grow with humility and gratitude, with love and acceptance and open-mindedness, that we can be joyous, in bliss in a way, grateful for an opportunity to notice how we are aligned with God, perfection, invulnerability in this sense. What is the eternal? It is not humility to insist you cannot be the light of the world if that is the function God has assigned to you. This is our purpose, to be the light of the world, to wake up to this idea, to save ourselves from how we have been trapped in our own minds. It is only arrogance that you would assert that you are not the light of the world, that it cannot be for you, and arrogance is always of the ego. True humility requires that you accept today's idea because it is God's voice which tells you it is true. This is a beginning step in accepting your real function on earth. It is a giant stride toward taking your rightful place in salvation. It is a positive assertion of your right to be saved and an acknowledgement of the power that is given you to save others. Yeah, even here it's calling it a giant stride. So maybe we can say this is big. This is a big thing to voice when we allow ourselves to say, this is my worth. This is what I am. I am powerful, abundant, and complete. True humility requires that you accept today's idea because it is God's voice which tells you it is true. True humility is to accept with ease. It's okay if this is what you are here for. To be of the idea of perfect peace and perfect safety and freedom from worry. You can do this with humility. This is God's voice telling you that this is what you are. This is a big step, a beginning step, a giant stride in accepting our real function on earth, taking our rightful place in salvation, our rightful place. This is how we are meant to settle. This is where we sit. And if we cannot see ourselves in this position, we are tricking ourselves that what we want is ours, we are reminded from this book. And again, I add, not for the taking. This is not some idea that because we are divine by God, that we are special in that particular way. Everything would be. Everything would be. And this is where our humility lies, that we are part of something very special and interesting, that we are given some gift to be light at all. This is something to be grateful for. To look at this as we are the through line to God and no one else may notice it, that we are their salvation, would definitely be to misguide this process of miracles, entering into arrogance, power, control, again, tricking ourselves. If we found this light must exist for others. It is a positive assertion of your right to be saved and an acknowledgement of the power that is given you to save others. You will want to think about this idea as often as possible today. It is the perfect answer to all illusions, and therefore to all temptation. I am the light of the world. You are the light of the world. I am the light of the world. This is my answer today to all illusions, all temptations. It brings all the images you have made about yourself to the truth and helps you depart in peace, unburdened and certain of your purpose. Okay, this sounds so key. Will you say, I am the light of the world? To say, I am the light of the world brings all the images you have made about yourself to the truth. That would be bringing all illusions forward and allowing them to simply notice the truth, that they instantly may sense how they are out of alignment, that they may settle on the truth. Perhaps then we notice how we feel as these things see their difference from the truth, and we can let them go. This idea, I am the light of the world, helps us depart in peace from these images, unburdened and certain of our purpose. What is the meaning of life, we wonder? What is my purpose? To be certain of your purpose? To be unburdened? No longer weighted down by our own illusions, our own image making? That we may notice peace, that we may simply step aside and say, thank you, no thank you. I am the light of the world. As many practice periods as possible should be undertaken today, although each one need not exceed a minute or two. They should begin with telling yourself, I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Let's repeat these. Please repeat after me. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Let's say it again. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. And if you'd like to say it with me, I'll say all three together. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Then think about these statements for a short while, preferably with your eyes closed if the situation permits. Let a few related thoughts come to you and repeat the idea to yourself if your mind wanders away from the central thought that you are the light of the world, that is your only function, that is why you are here. Be sure both to begin and end the day with a practice period. Thus you will awaken with an acknowledgement of the truth about yourself, reinforce it throughout the day, and turn to sleep as you reaffirm your function and your only purpose here. as you reaffirm your function, that what you are created for truly has a meaning. That you are created for one thing and one thing only, to awaken here. We'll start with our practice. We will awaken from our dreams, we believe, and repeat this idea, but we want to awaken to this truth about ourselves, that our function, our only purpose here in time and space is to move into a perspective where we may simply notice with ease at all times that we are the light of the world. It is our only function, our only purpose, our true purpose is to wake up to our own light. That God wants us to accept an idea of true vision so we may hear his voice with ease and know that we are provided for, that we are sustained by the love of God, that he is our source and our strength. This does not need to be threatening. May we accept this idea with humility that we are the light of the world. And everything we experience in the world depends on us noticing this, saving ourselves from our self-deprecating image making, building up a world of illusions around us, having gotten used to calling it light. This is building in arrogance. We are aligning ourselves with the ego. We need not be afraid that if we can notice ourselves as this light, we may leave behind these illusions by simply noticing the truth. And from the perspective of the truth, any lie that we have been living, uncomfortable or not to notice, is immediately revealed from the perspective of the truth. If it feels uncomfortable, that is okay. If we are uncomfortable, we are reminded that we simply do not understand yet, so we just practice. We don't need to practice something that we are already proficient at least the book is suggesting. That the learning is an expression, or the discomfort is an expression of our learning. The learning is pointing out that it is knowledge, moving closer to knowledge, which allows us to feel comfortable, that we have been trying to plan for something unknown using the past as an idea, that we have to guard something, that there is something to protect, and we have to figure out the future if we believe that we are going to be successful or healthy or safe. This is pointing to the idea that if we know more, we feel more comfortable, we have more ease. If we know the truth, then no matter how we have been living in like some falsehood, if we know the truth, all that's left is to accept the truth, that the truth simply is, and it is the representation of some total knowledge, a fundamental idea that perhaps noticing this kind of unconditional love or this ability to accept truth could be eliminating, if this is even the right term, but could be eliminating such a sea of illusions that everything we thought needed to be important in life was just another idol in our arrogance. And our only function, our true only function, is to see ourselves as the light of the world, to see this light in everything that is. That we are ordering anything at all is working too hard if there is only one thing, one purpose, which is to notice our light, that everything else is a distraction, that possibly everything we have been seeing is an illusion. I know that's what the book has been saying, but have you thought about it in its totality? That there is in everything that you are noticing, and none of it having the light of God imbued into it that you may see. And then there is simply the truth as one standalone idea, the number one, the truth you value, by which you can multiply your experiences, and there are your experiences, that they exist in the name of the truth. But if the truth is a singular thing, then everything else that we have been paying attention to, paying allegiance to, is simply not the truth. Perhaps everything that we have been noticing must dissolve. And I guess this is pointing out that that is what a perspective shift is. It's hearing the truth, what we could say a truth relative to some set of lies. And no matter how much energy we have invested in the lies, we let their ideas go. If you have been lied to in a relationship and you find out the truth, you could live in hell, worrying, recounting everything in the past that is no longer the truth. Then it would be great to notice them, because those would all be pointing to feelings that we have stored. And all of these feelings are pointed to something that we may forgive. And it is this process which allows us to feel our salvation and purification, to be able to move forward, accepting that we are inventors, creators of how we want to feel, at least in our minds. But to align ourselves with what was the past, if it was not true, and now we know, would be simply to be living in the past rather than the present, not receiving the gift of presence. We would be in hell by choice, providing all the energy that we have to some idea that our friends would say, that is not real. That the truth may simply be one thing, the truth, that it is. And therefore we could see how we are reaffirming our function and our only purpose here. To acknowledge the truth about ourselves, that we are the light of the world. The 2 practice periods, one in the morning and one in the evening, may be longer than the rest, which are supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes, if you find them helpful and want to extend them. So if you like this meditation, that you are the light in the world, that that is your only function, that that is why you are here, then you may do this longer than 2 minutes before bed or when you wake up. Today's idea goes far beyond the ego's petty views of what you are and what your purpose is. That if you are not seeing your true purpose as to recognize yourself as the light of the world, what would that feel like? If you are creating a purpose for yourself that is anything other than that, you are aligning with the ego. Perhaps we are allowed to imagine a world where we see ourselves as the light of the world, and we can go pursue, therefore, in fun and in truth, with whatever else that we want to build. But perhaps we do need to accept that our one true purpose, everywhere we go, until we can see ourselves beyond ourselves, and therefore everywhere and in all things, if all things really hold the same shape and value from that perspective. Perhaps they do. It is wonderful to be here reading this book, making these considerations. It would be wonderful, possibly, from that perspective, to still be able to be here, but to see it in more of God's light, to see it from the truth. I hope we are still sharing once we know the truth. But to invest in anything else would be to invest in the ego's petty views of what you are and what your purpose is, that we are aligning ourselves with some kind of untruth. As a bringer of salvation, this is obviously necessary to go beyond the ego's petty views. This is the first of a number of giant steps we will take in the next few weeks. Try to begin to build a firm foundation for these advances. You are the light of the world. God has built his plan for the salvation of his Son on you. Whoa, I think I want to take a whole lot better care of myself. Stretching, water, eating, mindfulness, taking more action, enjoying more action in the world, being curious of whatever is created by continuing to trust and putting my best self forward. I am perfect in this mess. And I trust that something wonderful is being created. as I step closer and closer in wonder to fullness. Please repeat after me. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. This is a declaration of our true purpose. I mean, maybe you don't want to wear it, but if you're even remotely curious, might this not be one of the most exciting ideas to try on? When was the last time you let yourself declare with curiosity and possibly even conviction what your true purpose is? Am I meant to work with dogs? Maybe, but my true purpose and what would make my experience with dogs and myself and whatever else fuller, to offer consultation on ways of seeing ourselves in the world and how that reflects into real investment, either in some form of value to be exchanged, or food, the energy, the value we exchange with the world, or mindset, the value we exchange with each other. To be human, to trade ideas, invisible, from one mind to another, to wear those ideas through our experiences, to notice what they feel like, to be curious about what shape we may offer them with our unique perspective. I am the light of the world. That is my only function. That is why I am here. Please say these words at least twice a day for 1 to 2 minutes at least, and as many other times as you feel compelled, and that you may remind yourself that you are the light of the world, and God has built his plan for the salvation of his Son on you. We are building a firm foundation, reinforcing it throughout the day, and again when we awaken after sleeping. This is an acknowledgement of the truth. It is a mere statement of truth about ourselves. It refers to you as you were created by God. It simply states the truth. This is an expression of humility. We are accepting our real function on earth. That on earth, we get to notice that we are the light of the world. This is not something that only is done in some spiritual plane, that is our function on earth right now as physical beings, is to wake up to an idea that we are the light of the world. That this is our only function, that this is why we are here. May we accept this idea with humility and conviction. I am Kesten Rono. I am sustained by the love of God. And I am the light of the world. It is my only function. It is why I am here. And I'll see you here again tomorrow for day 62. Please declare your true purpose and be well.